Hello everyone and welcome to my Hip Pod Self-Care Series Season 1 Episode 3. Is it Episode 3 already? Yeah. So this is where today we talk about exercise, and I am really excited because I had an epiphany this week, and before I was really struggling to find even something to talk about, to write about, and as the week went on, I just realized something about myself which I will share at the end, because maybe you have this too and you don't even know it, because I didn't even know it. I was shocked. So I'll save that for the end, so stay tuned. Okay, so basically if you're new here, I pick one new thing every week to work on for self-care. So week 1 was eating at the same time at every day for each meal. Week 2 was sleeping, and I shared with you some easy ways to fall asleep faster, and because I deal with anxiety and blah blah blah, so how to fall asleep. And then this week was exercise, and I already do exercise a lot, so it was really hard for me to find a goal for myself and something to work on throughout the week. So I thought, okay, well, because of my episode on sleep, they did say to make your exercise go earlier in the day instead of, they don't recommend to exercise late at night, basically. And that's usually what I do, is I exercise in the evenings, because usually that's kind of when I can fit it in. And also that was just my habits, because especially as a younger person, I was a gymnast, so our gymnastics classes were always in the evenings before, or maybe after dinner. And then being a student and working, I could only fit my workouts in the evening. And now I'm just so used to it that that's when I just feel like my body needs to work out. So I figured I would challenge myself. So that was my challenge in the beginning. And as I tell this story, you'll start to see how the challenge is starting to turn. And then I have this huge epiphany where my whole idea of exercise just totally changed. So I'll share that with you later, in the end, in the after parts. Okay, anyways, so I started working out after lunch instead of after dinner. And what I found a few things that were surprising. The first thing was I felt really, really good during the exercise, and really good even after the exercise. But then after an hour or so, I would get a headache, and I just was tired. And for me, it was frustrating, because everyone says that you get energy after you work out, and you feel really good throughout the whole day, and your metabolism is doing well. And I'm like, well, why am the fact that I'm exercising in the middle of the day, it should be giving me energy, but why do I feel so crappy? And so this was a mystery to me. And so then I thought, okay, well, maybe it's all in my head, and maybe I'm not motivated enough. So to motivate myself, what I like to do sometimes is I like to really get educated on that subject. So I started researching, and I was researching exercise physiology, and I was also researching neurology and exercise. And so I found a couple fun things on YouTube by experts, and I'll share 2 things with you, which I don't know if you guys know or not, and I thought it was pretty fun. The first one I actually already knew, but just to see this YouTuber, he wasn't even actually a YouTuber. He was what was he? I don't know. His name is Ruben Meeman, and he's a scientist, I guess, and he had a talk, a speech on TED, I think is the YouTube program, which I love that program. I recommend them below. But they just have lots of really interesting talks and stuff on there. But so he said, where does fat go when you lose it, or if you lose it? And he interviewed a lot of people in the streets, and a lot of people were like, it goes down in the toilet, or they're like, I don't know, it just gets burned up into energy. And he was like, so he asked everyone, and well, not everyone, he asked quite a few people, and surprisingly, nobody got the answer right. And then he showed us this picture, which I'll put here. So basically, he just talked about the chemical elements of fat, and if you take that plus oxygen, our body converts it into CO2 and water. So when we are burning fat, it actually comes out of our breath as CO2, and maybe some out of our sweat or our urine or whatever, through water. So that is where fat goes. I learned that in high school, but just seeing that again was a fun reminder. So then, I was running and thinking about what that scientist was saying, and I was like, oh, this is so motivating. It's like every time I'm exhaling, fat is coming out of my mouth. Like, I was just feeling really good, okay? And then the other YouTube I watched, by the way, I was watching these YouTubes while I was on the treadmill. The other YouTube I watched was by Wendy Suzuki. She also just had a talk there, a speech on TED, that YouTube channel. And she was saying that exercise is the most transformative thing that you can do for your brain today. And she is a professor of neuroscience, okay? And she was talking about how we have different parts of our brain. We have the frontal cortex, we have the the temporal lobe. We have one on each side, and then inside, like deeper in through the temporal lobe, we also have something called the hippocampus. And the hippocampus deals with a lot of memory things. Actually, a lot of these do. All these parts in our brain deal with memory. And she said that every time we exercise, our body produces new brain cells in the hippocampus. And so that hippocampus grows, and our memory also improves. So it's like, so the more we exercise, the bigger and stronger our hippocampus is. So then we also are at lower risk for things like Alzheimer's disease and dementia and things like that. So I thought that was really cool. So I'm like, okay, this is also motivating me. Like every time I exercise, I know I'm helping out my brain. Sorry, I need some tea. So, and then she said, basically what we need to do to get these effects is you need to work out 30 minutes of exercise 3 to 4 times a week. Okay, and I'm telling myself, I'm like, I do way over that already. Like when I work out, I run for an hour, and I may like walk for a minute here and there to just kind of, if I'm feeling a little bit over. And so I do 1 hour of cardio basically, and then I go and do strength training, and every day I rotate my body part that I strength train. For example, like Monday is legs, Tuesday is abs, Thursday is back, and Friday is shoulders and arms. So I was thinking, because this Wendy Suzuki, she was saying that how every time you exercise during the day, you get endorphins, and your dopamine levels rise, serotonin rises, and you have all this energy, and you're able to do stuff. And I was thinking, now why is my brain foggy a lot? Like I'm feeling foggy a lot, and I feel like I still am not producing enough like chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, and I was still feeling off. So I'm like, why is that when I am exercising so much and I should be getting these benefits? But I kept pursuing this goal. So then I did it again the next day and the next. And there was one time where I wanted like a challenge. I wanted something new. So I even asked my Instagram followers, I said, give me a challenge for a workout. And so a lot of people, a lot of friends, they gave me some suggestions, and then I videoed myself doing them. So that was super fun. And it was a really fun workout. Like whenever I'm at the gym, I'm having a good time. And then after that, like the next day, I was so tired. I took 2 naps, which technically you're not supposed to do. I couldn't do anything, and I was feeling so unproductive and guilty and just like almost even sad. And I was like, why is this happening to me? I should be happy, right? And so I was just frustrated. And I texted my husband, Jerry, and he helped me so much. I said, Jerry, I'm just so down, and I'm almost feeling kind of guilty because I'm not feeling productive, and I'm so tired, and I can't do anything. And you know what Jerry said? This is where my aha moment came in. He was like, I think your workouts need to be a little more balanced, and I don't think you realize how much you're doing. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm balanced. Like, I go to the gym like everybody else. But then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, maybe I am overdoing it, maybe. So I looked up, like on Google, of course, how much exercise is too much. And I found a few articles, and one of them, sorry, I just have to look here. led me to the Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans, the second edition, which I'll also post in my description. And it's just basically a PDF pamphlet made by the government of the United States talking about exercise and how much adults should do, children should do, blah, blah, blah. And so I found out through that article that, let me just read here. They recommended 150 to 300 minutes a week of moderate intensity exercise, okay? Or 75 minutes to 150 minutes a week of vigorous intensity exercise. Sorry, there's some noisy truck out there. Okay, so I looked up what is considered vigorous intensity, and that includes jogging and running. So that's what I do whenever I work out, and I work out around 5 times a week. So I did the math, and 5 times 60 minutes, we get 300. So I was doing double the recommended amount for vigorous intensity exercise. And then if you add on my strength training, that I was usually doing around 2 hours each workout session. And so when you multiply that up, I was doing up to 600 minutes a week, which is, again, double the recommendation. So then I thought, okay, maybe I am just overtraining, and that could be why I'm so tired all the time. I don't feel like doing anything. I want to sleep during the day, like take 2 naps, and I have a hard time waking up. And maybe that's why my brain is foggy. So I thought, wow, this is an epiphany. I was over exercising, and I would have never known it. Like, honestly, I don't know why I didn't think that. I don't know. For me, it just felt so normal. So, and I think a part of it is because as a gymnast, your training hours, if you are training, your training hours go for a really long time. And so I was just really used to that, to like exercising for long durations of time. And then when I stopped training as a gymnast, you don't have a coach anymore, and you're kind of on your own. And all we had was just a gym membership. And so, and so I just used that time up and went on the treadmill because I was just maybe kind of bored. And that was also the only time I allowed myself to watch Netflix, was when I was on the treadmill. So I definitely think I wasn't balanced. And that's all we want to do in this self-care series, is learn how to be balanced, right? So instead of pushing myself to try something new, to get a new workout, or to work harder, even longer, my new challenge for exercise in this episode 3 is to lower my exercise time. So now I'm going to do 30 minutes of cardio and then 30 minutes of strength training every time I work out, and maybe even rotate my cardio areas. Oh, there's my kitty cat. Yeah, so instead of always running on the treadmill, maybe I'll do stair stepper or do some other things that are, maybe biking, which is included in cardio. So I'm really excited. And I'm so thankful for Jerry for helping me wake up from this like over-exercising cycle. And I am a little afraid because, like, I don't know, to exercise less, it sounds easy, right? But like, to me, it's almost a little bit, not daunting, but it makes me a little bit nervous because I'm like, okay, I cut my exercise time in half. What if all of a sudden, like, I gain a bunch of weight? Or what if all of a sudden, I don't know, I just feel like the gym is my happy place, and it always has been. Like when I was training as a gymnast, the gymnastics gym was my happy place. And now the gym here is just my happy place. It's my alone time. It's when I can watch TV, and like, so to cut down that time makes me a little bit sad. But I do think that I'll have more time in the day to do other things, and I'll be more happy. So the change can be scary, right? Any change that we have in our life can be a little bit scary. And it sounds so silly that I'm scared of this. Like, I'm sure some of you are out here watching this being like, oh my word, she's so ridiculous. But I'm scared. I'm scared to lower my time from 2 hours to 1 hour of exercise. But, okay, so I haven't started yet. I'll start it today. And I'll let you guys know how that is, how that works out for me. And I'm going to keep this a habit for at least a week. I should do this for a month, to be honest. But I really would like to know how long you guys work out for. How long do you work out for? Please comment below. If you enjoyed this self-care series and maybe you yourself struggle with over exercising and you didn't even know it, why don't you do some self-analyzation? And yeah, if you enjoyed it here, please give me a like, a thumbs up, and also feel free to subscribe, because next week I'm going to talk about skin. And I am going to talk with I have quite a few friends who are estheticians or who are into skincare, so I'm going to talk to them, ask them a lot of questions. I'm also going to go through all my skincare stuff and ask my esthetician friends if the ingredients in there are okay. So it'll be really fun next week talking about skin. All right, I love you all. Have a wonderful week. Next week, I'll also let you know how I did on this experiment of lowering my exercise time. I'll talk about that and how the results were. So please stay tuned. Have a wonderful week. I love you all. Goodbye.